You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
Welcome to the podcast. This is Jerry, who's always here and wonderful and looking forward to hearing from you all.
This is Gabby. I'm here all the time as well, and I'm also wonderful, and I also look forward to hearing from you all.
And this is Enrique, and I'm back once again for this podcast.
Why are you coming in so enthusiastic?
Because I love you all.
Your arms are literally raised in the air. That's unusual.
Well, good thing they can't see that.
They cannot see that, but I explained it to them. Since we're not a visual medium.
You're not medium. You're very
Visual
large.
I knew you was going there before you even went there.
Where?
Visual maximum. Go ahead.
Listen.
I am listening. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Listening. We're recording from Plan B. This is our secondary location.
Our satellite location.
Yes, this is my office.
BGS Satellite Studios.
It's pretty cool having two offices.
That's nice. I appreciate coming here and having access to your games that you don't bring over. This post-human I see over here. Oh, that's
I walked in here and I'm like, oh my god, there's Legos, there's Nerf guns, there's
it's quite a child's paradise.
I know, right?
This is you've never been here till today.
Yeah,
You've never been to my new residence. We ate nachos and drank scotch.
You can't be mad at Gabi for not having nachos on the podcast.
And played Clash of Cultures.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to see my dogs.
Yeah, the little
my
runts.
Border collies.
Those little runts.
We played cornhole.
Yeah.
You had your first cornhole experience today.
Yeah, official cornhole.
We discovered that Enrique is a cornhole savant.
And it's all right. It wasn't
you
the best.
beat Gabi.
You're quite the cornhole connoisseur. A connoisseur, if you will.
You beat Gabi, who is a cornhole master.
I didn't know that.
He's a master holer.
I'm fairly good.
Okay.
Cornholio.
But Enrique was like, after like 12 tosses, and like every third toss was in the hole.
Damn, cornholio.
Classic. Which it must be said, at least by someone, every cornhole tournament.
I am cornholio. Back for TP for my bunghole. Cornholio. Now, whatever happened to them? Did they just stop?
No, are you kidding me?
They came back, right?
They had a revision, and it's wonderful.
I've never watched it.
It's glorious. The movie is quite possibly one of the most hilarious movies of last year.
Really?
It is hilarious.
Wow.
And I'm not a Beavis and Butthead guy. Growing up.
Yet you look like it.
No, growing up. Shut up, Butthead. Growing up, I didn't like them.
Really?
But in post-adulthood, post-teenagehood, they're quite hilarious.
Really?
Just like it's so stupid the stuff they laugh at. It's funny. It's funny stuff. I'm a fan.
Really like King of the Hill. Huge King of the Hill fan.
King of the Hill's good too. Well, it's the same guy, right? Mike Judge?
Bobby.
Or Greg Daniels, one of them guys?
Yeah, it's Greg. Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah. I'll tell you
Isn't that also the Office guy?
No.
Greg Daniels?
I don't think it is. That was, what's his face? Man, I'm blanking.
Not the British guy.
Yeah, not the British guy?
Well, I'm talking about the guy that brought it to America.
Oh, I don't know.
He's one of those Greg Daniels or Mike Judge.
It may have been. Mike Judge. Mike Judge, hilarious. Either ways, Ricky, put that down, please, before you shoot yourself with my Nerf gun.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Did you ever wonder who first thought of bread knives?
Bread knives?
Yeah. Like knives to cut bread with?
With the little serrated edges? They go,
correct.
Somebody who was trying to cut bread with unserrated knives, I guess.
The bread knife was invented by a Syracuse, New York resident named Joseph Burns in 1919. You know, I would think for the millennia that bread has been around, they would have tried to put forth a little more effort into cutting it as opposed to just like, 100 years ago. Someone's like, hey, we should come up with a device to cut this stuff.
Well, people come
They've
up.
been serving bread since early ages of mankind.
Oh, well, before you start throwing
What are they gonna cut it
shade,
with a sharp rock?
before you start, they had knives, but they didn't have an actual knife devoted to
know.
bread.
Reportedly, inspiration struck while he was using a scallop-edged glass cutting tool. Well, I don't know what that means.
Scallops, wonderful. Love them on steak. No,
Right.
wait. Shallops.
That's shallots.
Shallops.
There's scallops and then there's shallots.
I get them confused all the time.
Burns' serrated bread knife made it possible to slice loaves of bread without significant tearing or squishing. His design was also able to cut cleanly in both directions. So this way and that way. Much like a saw. Remember the saws that, like you get on both ends of it? You have two guys and
Yeah. For lumber, yeah.
seems like, those have been around a while. Seems like somebody said, hey, let's put one of those on bread.
How long has those lemon squeezers been around?
I haven't looked that up. I have to look it up.
Well, I'm just saying, you're throwing a lot of shade, acting like people are not inventing things at a rapid pace.
Burns' invention arrived approximately 10 years before the invention of the first whole loaf bread slicing machine. Although sliced bread is now easily accessible, many people still purchase or bake unsliced loaves that need cutting, and Burns' invention is considered a kitchen necessity today. Do you have a bread knife in your kitchen?
I think I do, yes. It's kind of weird looking.
We have a bread knife. So here's my thing.
Do you bake
This is my
bread?
issue. I have before, yes.
You have?
Yes.
What kind?
Sourdough, mostly.
No, you don't.
Yes.
You're making this up.
No.
I make Irish soda bread.
I've never had any.
Well, I'll make some, but you don't really have to cut it like that. It comes out in like a big It's not like you're not making slices for bread. You're just tearing it off. And
Well,
eating it.
right. And see, I actually like tearing the bread.
I do too. I like to tear bread.
But here's my thing.
I like
So,
to break bread.
I like breaking bread.
I like to
myself.
break it.
So here's the thing.
Breaking bad.
You often hear people say the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? Why not the greatest thing since the knife that slices bread?
Well,
Because without the knife that slices bread, they probably would have never thought about, hey, if we had a bunch of those in a row, we could just slice this bread. So really, the bread that slices knife is the device we should be saying, hey, this is the greatest thing since the knife that slices bread that Joseph Burns invented 100 years ago.
No, that's goofy because then we would just have to update that saying like every year when the next greatest invention come out. Like that's the greatest thing since chemo. That's the greatest thing since penicillin. We've come up with one saying.
That should be the case because it's the greatest thing since what?
Okay, what's
the previous greatest thing of all time?
What is the greatest
or
thing?
the most recent greatest
What is
thing?
the most recent greatest thing right now to you? Enrique, the most recent greatest thing. First great thing that pops into your mind.
Probably some app.
Chat
recent?
GTP. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
ASMR.
Which that's been around forever. Chat GTP. That's the first thing that
It's
came to
the
my mind.
greatest thing since Chad's GBA.
Yeah, Chad's MBA.
Chad's MBA.
My dad's a lawyer.
My name's Chad.
He drinks Monster.
My grade point average is 2.0.
Drinks Monster Energy drinks and punches holes in the wall.
We're messaging Chad. Tell us a story about
I keep texting Chad Elkins. So, could you please rephrase this email for me? No wonder he never.
Tell me a story about GTA, Grand Theft Auto. This is Chad's GTA.
If your name is Chad, you probably have GTA
We
on
pick
your
on
record.
Chads quite a bit.
Because Chads deserve
Hanging
it.
Chads.
Oh, Chad Chasson.
Chad Chasson.
And now a hard merge into board games.
WizKids was so nice to send us a review copy of the Monumental Edition of Clash of
Full
Cultures.
disclosure.
What?
Full disclosure. This is a review copy we got in the mail. We will not be charging for positive reviews. Go ahead.
Wow, you're coming out straight.
I'm just saying.
You're just coming out hard there.
I just made a comment.
Okay, yeah, I know you made a comment. I heard it.
It was vague.
It was very
It wasn't
vague.
pointed at anything in particular.
It sounds like you just trying to point it towards somebody.
I only said.
Okay, so anyways, Class of Cultures by WizKids. Now, first off, we did one of the most harshest reviews ever of a game that we said was probably one of the worst games we had ever played.
Star Trek Conflict?
Conflict.
Yes, by WizKids.
And they sent us that review copy. And then we did a review saying it was the absolute worst thing ever.
You know what that tells me? They have integrity.
They didn't listen to our review.
There's also that.
So...
They're like, who are we sending this to? I don't know. They're on our list, though. Maybe we should check that. Don't worry about it. Just send them out to them.
They're nominated for the Golden Geek.
They must be legit.
They must be. And then they listen to the podcast where it's all Billy Bob. I love classic cultures. We're down there in Louisiana. We got a lot of culture down here.
If there's one thing I like, it's culture.
I tell you what, we used to go on over to the Bowlerino at night.
And play some cornhole.
You
would think you'd go bowling there, but no, you play cornhole there. It's kind of ironic.
They got cornhole in the back. Maybe wait till after 10, they turn the neon lights on. They turn them neon lights on and the pins, they glow.
The pins glow. The harder you hit them, the harder they glow.
Barbara works at the snack counter.
If you can get past all the cigarette smoke, it's a pretty nice place to play.
They make good french fry taters.
They make some real good french fry tater. Put some mustard on it.
You don't stick your hand in that receiver. I bought a 212 there one time.
They got a real nice cabinet pole position. I ain't played pole position in a long time. Spy Hunter. You ever played Spy Hunter? You remember Spy Hunter, Jerry?
I remember Spy Hunter. I didn't really like it. It was a good game.
Spy Hunter, pole position, Galaga.
I lost all my money at that claw machine.
All that claw machine, that'll kill you.
I spent $4 trying to get one of them bears.
I think we may have lost our way on Clash of Culture discussion.
Give me a second. Okay.
Phenomenal.
So thank you, WizKids, for sending us this game, which is nice.
Somebody at WizKids, if they're like, we've made a huge mistake.
No. For instance, Clash of Cultures is a Civ game, like a 4X game, which if you would ask me to say what the 4X means, please look it up right now because I am blanking. Exterminate, exploit.
Exterminate.
Stop.
What did that Billy Bob do with the what are they called?
Daleks.
Dalek. I'm a Dalek. Exterminate.
That plunger you missed.
I'm gonna shoot you with my plunger. Exterminate.
David Tennant's the best doctor if you ask me. Okay, listen.
Exterminate.
Exploit. Explore and expand.
There it is.
So, I first off, I don't know where to start with this. Well, first off, I'll just start here. Number one, this is the Monumental Edition. It's got all the expansions in it. It's a great production. It has great artwork. All the components are really nice. It's got all the little plastic pieces in there. Your quintessential, I say quintessential.
The monumental.
Monumental. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Dudes on a map game. This, to me, was like Barony on steroids. It's like Barony's a simple classic, very clear, straightforward. This was let's play for 4 hours and have a big battle and really develop a culture. And I remember at one point when we were playing this game, I said this was what I wanted from Scythe. Like I wanted something that felt like I'm building up, and it was a very tight game, even though Enrique kind of played rather inefficiently in sometimes. And it ramps up. We played the basic version of it where there was only 6 ages. The first stage was like positioning, you missed moving around. Second age, we're kind of getting things going. By the third age, our engine is moving. And then, by the 5th, 6th stage, we're fighting. We're tearing it up. And then the game is over, just right on time. I really enjoyed this game. More than what I thought I would. Matter of fact, the rule book was really well written. I didn't watch any videos on this. I had one question regarding movement that kind of bothered me a little bit that I got on the forums and read up about and realized it was more just my poor understanding of it. It's a beast to set up, but if you don't mind that, I think this is my favorite Civ game. I want to play Mosaic at BGG to compare them. I know they're completely different, but when I think of games like Mare Nostrum...
Nations? Because that's your present favorite Civ game that you tout.
Would Nations be a Civ game? Because it's not like a map. When I think of a Civ game...
That is something...
I think of like that game up there, the Civilization New Dawn. Not Nations, the card game.
I know, but not Nations, the card game.
But it is a card game.
Well, yeah, but whenever through the ages, the quintessential,
which is a card game, it's not quintessential.
Civilization game gets discussed. You always say Nations is better.
Okay, it's not a Civ game.
Okay, so I would...
You're wrong.
Well, this has the whole thing of actual area control or area majority or whatever this game is. This is actually control.
Right. You're fighting.
Right.
There's violence.
I feel like there's more of that there is that in this game, whereas there's not in Nations. Nations is you're kind of just running up tracks in Nations. Literally. There is battle, but not really. You're not putting people on a hex fighting each other. You're just going to a spot on a card that says battle or on the player main board.
Yeah, yeah.
So in that regards, even Rurik, in that regards, this kind of gave me some Rurik vibes. It kind of gave me some Scythe vibes as far as the upgrading your player board there with your civilization. So you have all these technologies on your personal player board that you can increase with these advancements.
Which I very much like that.
Which it's kind of weird that to advance your technologies just requires food.
Well, you got to feed your scientists.
Feed your people. We need a rocket.
Do you understand though that
food.
Do you understand that that's literally what produced science, right?
Feed your people.
No, you understand that though, right?
Go ahead.
You need to know. Okay. I don't even know where to begin with this, but if you go back in time, 1,000 calories worth of work produced 1,000 calories worth of food. Okay? There was no agriculture. It was just you go out, you gather, and you hunt, and generally, however much you expended, that's what you got back.
Okay.
So it wasn't until the agricultural revolution to where you had one person could now feed 4 people. So one dude could literally go out and farm and feed himself and 3 other people, which allowed artists and scientists and every other people in the community to sit and think.
Instead of just working to produce food, they were able to get food from someone else and do their art.
Right. So essentially, that's where all
influencers,
all advancement comes from.
So this is a game of influencers.
Essentially, if you can feed your people and have enough people that can sit and think, something good happens. That's basically the story of the world ever. The more people that you can put on the back burner and let them think and allow your smart people not to be toiling, doing something, trying to scrape by and survive, that's where you get... Because when you think about it, if you work a 40-hour week, just now...
You got time for nothing.
Think of what you could do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's because like now that I work a full schedule, 8:30 to 5:30 every day, a very strict scheduled existence now.
Yeah.
I don't have time for the things I used to enjoy more.
But yet we feed you so much. You produce this podcast.
That's true.
Imagine
in my very limited spare time.
Imagine if you didn't have a job. What you could do.
What could I do? I would love to know.
But like someone like Enrique.
Support our Patreon, boardgamesnobs.com.
She doesn't do anything.
Enrique, what do you do in your spare time to promote humanity?
To promote humanity? Nothing.
Yeah.
What are you bringing to the community?
I don't bring anything to the community.
Wow.
Well, and how does that make you feel?
No, I guess... Well,
if you were to think about your role in society, what do you think?
My only role
for instance,
in my community...
I am a healthcare hero.
Jerry's a healthcare hero.
A hero just in general.
I used to deliver goods from one place to another. Now, I accept your claims for basically complaints.
You fix dents.
I fixed dents.
Okay, well,
Well, no, you send people to fix dents.
I will send them out. And go.
Okay, is this what we're going to send the WizKids?
WizKids, Clash of Cultures.
I really enjoyed it.
Monumental Edition. I really enjoyed this game.
Really? You won it.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I was not surprised. You played. Now, I am surprised that you trusted me enough to let me negotiate with you and then attack you.
I knew, but I said it as I knew it.
But I want to point out that I did give you money afterwards.
That is true, unlike Enrique. Okay, so here's the thing I discovered about, not discovered, it's like any other game, especially at 3-player. How many does this go up to? Do you know?
I believe 4. 4.
Okay. I would say 4 is probably fine. It probably wouldn't be much more longer than what we played at. I would say a 4th player probably would add an hour onto this game.
No. So it's
30 minutes.
It's 2 to 4 players. Move your thumb there. 180 minutes. 180 minutes. That's 3 hours. Yeah, it was 3 hours. 3 hours. It was 3 hours.
But that was a learning game. 3 of us. I would say a 4th player.
Once you know it, you know it.
Okay.
4 players.
But here's the thing. This is the issue with every one of these style games. And it's not even an issue. It's a feature. I was attacked by Enrique. I was attacked by Jerry.
One time.
Jerry and Enrique never attacked each other.
You threatened me.
But that's not the point.
And you were defenseless.
But that's not the point.
Soft underbelly.
However,
Basically.
I turned that attack from Enrique into an advantage because I built up my army back up and then I attacked him right back. And unbeknownst to me, I had these cards in my hand that actually gave me victory points based on my victory. And I was like, oh, crap, I can play that now. Oh, crap, I can play that now. These objectives you get when you play I was rewarded for my aggressiveness.
Correct.
Which I wouldn't have been.
As we all know, is the fact of life.
Which I wouldn't have otherwise been had I not been attacked. Because attacking is not my modus operandi normally.
Why are you speaking Greek?
I love Latin. What can I say? E pluribus unum.
Too many, there's one.
Tiki tiku.
Many parsons.
Many parsons.
So anyways, you've got weighed and you weigh more than one. Is that what that means?
So, despite that fact that I was being attacked from both fronts, I still I managed to come out with a victory. But with a 4th person, I think it might balance that part out a little bit.
I would say, yeah, 2 or 4 players, I think this game would shine. How can you have 2 fronts? You have a front or a back?
I was a northern front and a southern front.
I don't like that phrase.
You attacked him behind from the sea.
So I got you from the back. I come from the sea.
Yeah,
1 if by land, 2 if by sea. And you didn't see the 2 coming.
I did not see the sea.
And I showed up because you threatened me. And you know how I deal with threats.
It wasn't a threat. It was an acknowledgement of your
You
area.
pointed at my settler and said, be ashamed something happened to him. And then I loaded up. I'd be like, it'd be a shame.
I said, what's he doing here?
He's settling. Hence the name.
And I figured that settling was going to become aggressive at some point.
It was not.
I ignored him.
No, you threatened him.
But then you came at me, barrels ablazing.
I have a hard red line. And
you know what?
Talking.
You built up all that stuff right there, and
ready.
you never moved them.
You know why? Because I'm not violent. I'm peaceful. But I rolled up. When somebody starts talking trash, I rolled up.
I feel like you got a little too...
No. I rolled up. That had the biggest city on the map.
You did.
I did.
But then you didn't expand from there. You just left everybody there.
I was peaceful.
You were in pure defense mode.
I was trying to make...
And me being aggressive, and this is what you have said in previous games, almost of every other game we played of this style.
What's that?
Being aggressive pays off.
It does. And you
weren't aggressive enough.
And what happened to
I
you?
was aggressive.
There you go.
And I won.
And see?
I really do think that's a feature of most of these games.
What you're saying is I'm right.
You are correct in this discussion, yes.
Right.
Like Civ, what was the Civ game we played? That's the Civilization. Mm-hmm. There's another game.
Civilization?
No, there's another game. But yeah, anyway, just most of these style of games, if you are the aggressor, usually it pays off. Rurik. If you're an aggressor, usually it pays off.
Either way, this game taught me something.
What did it teach you?
Look at there. You set them up, we'll knock them down for you.
I don't like Civilization games.
Really?
It took me a while to realize that. I like fighting games. A lot.
Yeah.
Lock it a lot.
A lot.
I watched Dumb and Dumber just Friday.
A lot.
It holds up.
It does.
He's like, I lock it a lot.
But it's I'd rather either have a game, and this is going to be odd. I like a game where either there's no fighting, where it is like kind of like Nations or Through the Ages type game, where you're just kind of building, and there is just a small minor war mechanic, or it is just a bloodbath, like that 886 Vikings or something of that nature, where it's where something where you obviously you're out fighting this person.
Mm-hmm.
The Civ game is too much of a variety, and as you do know, I don't multitask very well. I will say this. This has so far been my favorite Civ game. This is the only Civ. Sad thing is, we're going to have to play that Civilization New Dawn. That Civ. I haven't played Mosaic yet. We looked at it.
And I don't think we played Civil.
We played it one time. And it has that mechanic.
Dawn.
Yeah.
You literally said during the game, this reminds me of Civilization.
But he was talking about the video game.
Yeah.
Because he's a millennial or what are you, a Zen?
We played Civilization and New Dawn together.
Yeah, no, but it's been so long. This Clash of Cultures may very well cause me to sell Civilizations. And
yes.
I'm going to have to play Mosaic, and I just glancing at it makes me look like
for me, like this might be a good Civilization game.
Well, I like the fact this game, you get 3 actions on your turn.
3 main actions.
You get 3 main actions. You can repeat them if you want to, or you can separate them. Now, this one gets a little hairy in all the things you can do, but
this doesn't actually.
1 or 2 rounds.
I don't know what you're talking
I'm just saying 1 or 2 rounds, and you know what exactly you can do.
Right.
You can advance your technologies.
Congratulations on the rule book. I think Grogan did the rule book.
Joe Rogan?
Wow.
Not Joe Rogan.
Seth?
No, Grogan. Grugan. The dude, the video game, Paul Grogan?
Paul.
Think it. Yeah, that guy.
Board gaming rules. Something
I think
like that.
he did the rule book. I think I was looking at it.
Okay.
I think so.
He
Don't
does a pretty good job.
quote me.
I
on
never
that.
do.
But if you do quote me.
In these 3 actions, you can move, you can settle, you can rebuild your cultures, you can do. There's like a list of 6 different things you can do as an action.
It had a player
Because
aid.
I feel
I
like-
know how you
Player
love
aids.
a player aid.
Love player aids. The player aid on this game, fantastic.
Because I feel like this
It is.
game can be one of 2 ways. Either you can build up armies and just go attack the other players physically, or you can build up your religion and just start converting everyone to your religion.
Hence the culture.
Well, that was okay. One thing I will say, culture had little to do with the game we
Yeah,
played.
but
here's the
neither
thing.
none of us did in culture.
Yeah,
well, that's
the
what
thing.
I'm saying.
Because
literally, that's what I just said.
Well, no,
we-
you said culture had little to do with the game.
No, I
we
said culture
chose.
had little to do with the game we played.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
I
well,
did too.
You didn't say we
I
played.
can stop this down right now.
You didn't
and
say we
rewind it.
played.
I feel like I said that had
He
little
did.
to do with the game
He
we
did.
played.
I cut you off before you got to say it. So that's I'm right.
Culture had little to do with the game we
Yeah, but-
played. The game we
yeah, but-
played. The game we
yeah, but-
played. This is called Clash of Cultures, and there is an aspect of this game where you can
Culturized.
be so many spaces away from someone else's city and just influence their culture. We never did that.
I used to make cultures. So when I was in college, I took a microbiology class, and this lady who
That's just like not washing your clothes.
no. This lady who she was a doctor and she was a microbiologist and she needed a lab assistant. And I desperately needed an A.
She's like, your toilet is full of culture.
So, her name, kid you not, was Dr. Seuss. Soos. And she had just come back from sabbatical, which is a fancy word for vacation that some people use. I don't know why they say sabbatical. It sounds like a Star Wars card game.
Well, I feel like Space Biff's been on a long sabbatical. That's what he always says.
She got tick fever or something like that and was gone for like 18 months. She comes back and then she says, I need a lab assistant. And I was taking the class. I needed this class to get through it. I said, okay, I'll be your lab assistant. And she says, I need somebody to make cultures for me. The little petri dishes with the nutrient auger is what they call it. So you had to basically boil up this stuff and then you pour the liquid in there and then they solidifies into this gel. And then you put this little cellophane wrap thing around the top of them so that they're sterile. You could burn yourself very easily. And I ran the autoclave, which is the big machine that sterilizes things. You put stuff in it and it turns it on and it heats everything up. Anyways, so I took one of those cultures. And she was always saying about how, hey, you just leave these out in certain places and catch all types of bacteria. So just put it on top of your refrigerator and leave it open for a day or so, and then put the top on it and just see what comes up, because the bacteria gets in it and just goes crazy. Disgusting. It's amazing. So anyways, I'm making these cultures, and I give one to another student. And this dude goes home, puts up like a piece of apple or something in it, and he ends up growing a fungus. So as you well know, funguses are bad. And they spore that go places, and you don't dare open them in a sterile environment. So here we are in a lab, and people are all putting this stuff underneath their stethoscopes, and here comes this dude with this little, petri dish, and he's going on, I stuck an apple in here, and she yells from across the room, don't open that! And it has this mold-looking thing on it. And I took it, and in a panic, threw it into the autoclave and killed it. I'm pretty sure. What I'm trying to say is I prevented the apocalypse. So
the
there's
Apolocalypse.
Yeah, the apple. So it's like these people on these shows that mess up, and there's always that one guy, kind of like you've heard my theory about the fat people in all the Jurassic Park movies that always let the dinosaurs out, which is why all the Jurassic Park's fat phobic, and we're against that.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, that there's always that one person that just messes up that could have been there, but I stopped it. And I'm just saying, I am a hero.
Yet again, you're a hero.
I am a hero. The world, if I had let that apple, people would have been, yes. So that could have happened, or it could have come to an end. But thankfully, I was there, and that was how I clashed with cultures. And what I'm trying to say is, I've clashed with cultures in real life.
I remember in school taking a similar class, or a zoology class, and we swabbed the teacher's seat and grew a culture off of that. And it was pretty bad. We were like swabbing stuff and put it in a petri dish.
Oh, her seat.
Her seat.
Not her posterior.
Her chair. Let me rephrase.
Okay. I was wondering.
We didn't swab her posterior.
We have other
what?
We have other people.
We swabbed her chair.
English and
hey, swab.
Swab.
Get that there, will you? Bring it over here. Put it in the petri dish.
Either way, I really enjoyed Clash of Cultures. Enrique, do your thing. Do you like it?
I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it. I played inefficiently, as you said.
Yes, you did.
I would like to play it again to see if I can.
That's high praise. Like I said, I don't like 4X games. I think this is probably going to be the only 4X game that I have.
It's interesting you call it a 4X game. When I think of 4X games, I generally think of like the main one with the space lion on it.
Twilight Imperium. Like the most popular game ever. So you explore in this.
Yeah, you do.
You expand.
Over those tiles, you expand.
You exploit the land. And you exterminate.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I am. How many times have I been right this episode?
A lot. You've been right a lot this episode. Does that make you feel better?
I think we should.
Board Game Snobs approved. What? Clash of Cultures. I liked it. Enrique liked it. He said it's your favorite.
He loved
game.
it. He said he loved it.
You did say you loved it.
He said loved.
Because I wanted to see if I can convert some cultures to my culture next time.
What is your culture?
Don't worry about that, okay?
All right. So definitively, Clash of Cultures.
It's good.
Board Game Snobs approved.
You said that once already.
For the second time. That's 3 times.
Approved.
And that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for all the people that are on our Patreon. We appreciate you very much. Because of you, I'm able to go to BGG Spring this very weekend.
They're paying for your ride.
They are. And for, I don't know, I'm going to take the card and say, hey, whatever you want, guys, it's on the patrons.
What are you taking? Don't do that.
We got a card.
We gotta get a.
It's going to pay for our bowling. Thank you, patrons.
No, I done did the Groupon.
Oh, that's right.
So crazy.
We're going to eat Chinese food too.
I want to pay for our Chinese food.
I do want to eat Chinese food though.
Done and done.
Because I love Chinese food.
I can eat
and
all
you know
the
who you are.
As much rice as I can.
Leave us a review. 5 stars on Apple. Leave us a review. Spotify. Send us an email if you have any questions about anything we've been talking about.
Please don't.
Until next time, I'm Gabi.
This is Jerry.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.